What's up, superfans? It is Fit Nerd from Superheroes Ultimate. As you can tell from my enthusiasm, we just saw Dark Phoenix. This is High Rock 809. He is technically a DC guru, but he is familiar with the Marvel Universe, which is not what we're talking about today, because this is not the Marvel Universe, this is the Fox Universe. With
X-Men.
The X-Men Universe, which has, I don't even know what timeline at this point. If you're new to this channel, then hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications button so you can stay updated in the here and now in the superhero world. And wanted to take a moment and give a big shout out to Performa with their cool gear with shaker cups, wristbands, all officially licensed, Star Wars, DC, Marvel, and so much more cool gear. Check out the description below and use code FITNERD15 and you will get 15% off your entire order.
Previously on X-Men.
Warning, this video will contain all of the spoilers. We will talk about all of the good stuff, the bad stuff, and the ugly stuff. Did I just quote Clint Eastwood? The good, the bad, and the ugly?
Yes.
We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of this movie. It does have all of the above. I mean, as many of you guys are very familiar with, I am a hardcore X-Men fan. And I have literally grown up with the X-Men. Actually, my very first comic book was X-Men #1 in 1991 with the artist of Jim Lee. That was my very first comic book, and it has forever changed my whole forte for the last eons of reading comic books. So when I say I am a hardcore X-Men fan, you best believe it. I am a hardcore X-Men fan, like this guy loves Batman.
Hardcore Batman.
Hardcore Batman fan.
X-Men guru, Batman guru.
Yep. I actually had the pleasant opportunity to talk to Chris Claremont actually about the X-Men. Yeah,
That's
I actually
nice,
was able to have a one-on-one conversation with him about the X-Men. This happened about a year ago or so. When he actually signed my X-Men #1 issue. So that was actually a cool moment to actually talk to the man himself. Associated with the storyline, which in my opinion is one of the biggest, most important storylines in the whole X-Men background. Just everything about this storyline is that important, like Avengers to Endgame. What did you think about it? Go with the ugly. Just go nasty. Just go raw with it.
There's a lot of missing parts. One of my things I hated was in the last movie, Age of Apocalypse, it was hinted that Jean Grey already had the Phoenix in her when she stepped on and incinerated Apocalypse with the Phoenix Force. But in this movie, they changed it up. They changed the canon. So now you've seen the preview, seen the trailer, they go into space, she absorbs the Phoenix Force, and then she comes back down to Earth, she's wreaking havoc. You know, I hated there was no Wolverine mention. Okay, Hugh Jackman's done with the role, but yeah, at least mention him in passing, you know, in conversation. We all know the timeline.
Cameo, at least a cameo.
Not a cameo.
Like just
maybe a picture, you know,
like a picture in the school somewhere, like you know,
dedicated
he was
him.
here.
Yeah. Like, have you seen this guy running around with claws and stuff? That would have been nice.
But yes, Fox doesn't care about timelines, clearly. They tried to fix it in Days of Future Past, which is still to this day top of the list as far as the X-Men franchise.
That's your favorite one? It was
that was my favorite movie by far. But like I said previously in the non-spoiler IGTV version of it, it's like you're taking a small kid. He's in a third world country. He's living in a bunker, okay? No food, no water. Some magical day, someone shows up with this rotten piece of sandwich. But it's all there is to eat, so he eats it. That is what an X-Men fan feels like when he sees the X-Men movies. It's what we get at the current moment in time, so we go watch it. Even though, you know, we come out slightly disappointed, but we get to see things live. We always wanted to see Apocalypse live, so we did get to see it. Were we completely happy with it?
I wasn't.
Hell no.
I wasn't.
They gave us Psylocke. We wanted to see a real Psylocke.
They gave us Psylocke twice.
Twice.
And the most accurate one was the one
Twice.
from the last movie, Age of Apocalypse, portrayed by Olivia Munn. Is it Olivia Munn? Yeah, Olivia Munn.
Olivia Munn.
Well, she did a very good job.
She did a great job, actually. She was actually really good. She was just pointed in the wrong direction because of Fox Studios.
And she was the only one with the costume that was taken from the comic books.
Yep. But like you were saying before, with the Phoenix was shown in Apocalypse for some odd reason. Technically, that would have meant that she was already with the Phoenix. But they kind of shimmied their way back to the original source material, which is when they go to space and the Phoenix comes out of the stratosphere or whatever they are, rescuing the astronauts, and it takes over her.
Yeah.
Really? Like, I feel like they skipped everything.
Here's the thing. You just said that you are, a big X-Men fan. Not everybody goes to see the movies, is an X-Men fan, is a comic book, aficionado that knows, or seen the X-Men animated series from the 90s. Fantastic series, if you can have access to it with iTunes, Amazon, I suggest you go watch it. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Fantastic. I mean, just watching the episodes with Apocalypse, you're gonna be like, yeah, they didn't do no justice in the movies, because in the cartoons, he was so menacing and such a difficult foe to take care of. But I'm getting off topic. So not everybody.
It's on topic. We're talking about X-Men.
Not everybody's a big time fan. So they got to make it a general audience. They got to make it so everybody can sit down.
But they got to reference things. See, that's the thing. The MCU cinematic universe takes bits and pieces. The Thor Ragnarok is actually one of the best examples of this. They took Planet Hulk, they took the Ragnarok storyline, and they just made it a thing of its own in its own universe, which is fine. And they could have done that with X-Men. They could have taken source material and made it its own universe.
Well, they do it with all the MCUs. Like, I've seen a lot of videos where they focus scenes where Hawkeye in Civil War, Hawkeye shoots Ant-Man. That's taken right from the comics.
That's right from the comics.
There's a lot. Civil War also, where Captain America and Iron Man are fighting and he holds up the shield and blocks his repulsor blast. That's straight out of the comics. The panel's right there. One of the most iconic panels in Civil War, the original Civil War, not the new Civil War 2, the original. But
Civil War 2 is actually better as far as a read.
Okay,
I think it's better.
I'm gonna sit down and read it then. But maybe because Kevin Feige is a big time nerd and he's a big fan of the comics and he likes to put it in the comic books, or maybe because the people that made X-Men don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to make a superhero movie. See, we don't know.
One of the main differences is that Kevin Feige, yes, he's a fan, but he respects the fans' wishes. But while at the same time introducing non-comic goers. I mean, you got to look at it as a whole. How many Avenger fans are there out there in the world now?
Because of the movies?
Because of the movies.
Probably a lot more.
A lot more than the comic goers, for sure.
Endgame put that in perspective,
Yeah.
Is it now the highest grossing movie? It might be. It passed Titanic.
It was on pace for the highest grossing movie.
It passed Avatar, but I don't think it passed Titanic.
The writing is crap. I'm just gonna flat out say it. The writing is crap. They tried to give us a good story, but the good story wasn't even there. Don't you think that the Phoenix right at the get-go was just rushed? Hello, Mr. President. Yes, I have a bunch of mutants that will go up there and save your human ass. Okay.
How would you want it? How would you want them to do it? Because they go on a mission.
Exposition.
She gets
exposition. There was zero exposition into her becoming the Phoenix.
Okay.
Is my point.
Okay, so
they didn't translate that. It's like they figured, all right, we kind of did a sneak peek in Apocalypse, and now we're just gonna go straight for it. Like, they skipped so many angles. It's just cheap writing, in my opinion.
Okay.
Cheap writing.
You wanted to give it a little more TLC, more time. Okay.
Of course, even if it is like a finale, Logan did this right. Logan gave us a finale for the character. If you're gonna go out with a bang, go out with a bang. Like this movie, even though it's now back home, thankfully, and we'll probably see a very good X-Men story
in 5 years.
In 5 to 6 years, when they figure out how to reintroduce this again to the world. There is a franchise already. We have seen characters. There have been many pluses with the old X-Men movies also, the original X-Men. We got to see Nightcrawler. That's still one of my favorite scenes.
Oh yeah.
We got Hank McCoy.
I hear you're quite an animal.
Look who's talking.
And that was also one of my favorite characters. We clearly got Wolverine, and everyone knows Wolverine now. There's a lot of pluses. But there's also a lot of bad stuff. The cons of things. As far as stories, timelines. I don't understand how from First Class and 20 years later, Professor Xavier and Magneto have zero aging.
Maybe because the actors haven't aged, they haven't really gotten
Because
old.
it's only been a couple of years, but I mean, then you look at the other Magneto with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, I think his name is.
I don't know. Patrick Stewart, for me, he's timeless. He hasn't aged from.
He hasn't aged at all.
He hasn't aged.
But still, I mean, it's a given that this should have aged a little bit more. There's been at least 20 to 30 years difference between First Class and now. And they haven't aged.
They have good genetics, the whole mutant gene.
I mean,
the mutant gene keeps them young.
They don't have those Halle Berry genes, man. They don't have those Halle Berry genes. Halle Berry could be like 102. She still looks the same.
Keanu Reeves too.
Somewhat.
He doesn't.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah,
really
John Wick doesn't really get old. I mean,
he is the one.
He is the one.
That's gonna outlive all.
All right, irrelevant.
All right. You started it. You started it.
I did start it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about some of the good stuff.
No. I want to talk about one more bad thing. Was the villains were very bland. They were very like, oh, okay, here's the villains. They want to use the power, use Jean's power, manipulate her, blah, blah, blah. There was not a lot of context, Yes, they say that, oh, my world was destroyed by the Phoenix Force, but that's it, like it was destroyed. I would like to see the Shi'ar Empire introduced. What was Charles Xavier's, the queen that was his love? Lalandra. I would love to see Lalandra come in and them develop a quick relationship like he did with Moira in First Class.
Moira Tiger.
Yeah, and then since this is the last Fox one, Charles Xavier leave off with Lalandra into the Shi'ar Empire.
None.
Magneto could have been the new. The new head of the X-Men mansion. Teaching kids how to be the future X-Men.
Well, that's him fully being a good guy.
But that's what I would have liked to see.
Yeah.
See Lalandra come in and then having them having them help the X-Men fight the Phoenix Force and then half off. Nice, quiet, romantic send off for. Well, not quiet, but nice romantic send off for Professor X. He goes off, but then it won't fit for the whole Logan thing. That's the problem.
Yeah, Logan's his own. It's okay. It's acceptable. But like you were saying, Shi'ar Empire. It's like someone in Fox Studios decided to say, in the X-Men with that bird lady story, there were aliens involved, right? Like, those they were like bird people. No, let's just make them like reptilian things, and it's alien. It's close enough. Let's disregard every single X-Men fan in the planet and just say, yeah, a bunch of aliens. Like Cloverfield ones. Like those. Those are the ones. No, that's not acceptable. What the hell are you guys doing? Were you drunk and high when you guys wrote this? Listen, one of those things. They should have gone with the Shi'ar Empire, but that could have been like a trilogy right off the bat. The whole Phoenix saga should have been at least 3 movies on its own. I don't know if you guys agree with that. Would you guys agree with that? That the whole Phoenix saga could have easily been a trilogy of its own.
Well, they don't have time for that, man. They need to end it now. The Fox X-Men series needs to end now. Now they're in the MCU, Marvel's hands. The MCU is about to introduce mutants. You know what? I am actually very glad because I thought that they might have ended this movie with Jean Grey or Professor Xavier together, wiping out everybody's memories of mutants' existence, and that's how they were gonna bring them into the MCU. I'm glad they didn't do that. That's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't like. And we're gonna erase everybody's mind. They cause so much chaos. They're gonna erase everybody's mind collectively. People are gonna forget mutants exist, and then, boom! Like a post-credit scene would have been Tony Stark being, "I am Iron Man." Oh, but they didn't do that. Thank God. That's one thing you got. They got right.
Yeah, thankfully they didn't go the full route. Like Game of Thrones series finale. They didn't go that route.
I'm not a Game of Thrones fan.
It's alright. You're not missing anything with the last season. But
that's what they're telling me.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, you seen that picture of the horse, where it's like a beautiful horse, and then it just goes into a penis? That one. That's exactly what Game of Thrones is. That's a perfect chart for it, actually. I swear that that art is exactly Game of Thrones.
Oh my God. I'm surprised you haven't.
But anyways, it could actually... You know what? That same chart could actually be the X-Men series.
There we go. I was just about to say. I'm surprised you haven't.
Same thing. It had a high note at Days of Future Past where they tried to fix things, gave us some hope, and we got Apocalypse, and it was just shattered again. So, but enough with the ranting of this movie and how it was slightly a disappointment. As it had bad stuff, it did have good stuff. One of the things is, was it even watchable? Yes. It is watchable. It is cinematically okay to watch. Like, it'll entertain you. Is it a repeat watch? No. I don't think I will go back and watch it in theater again. Like, sorry to compare to Avengers, but they basically set the bar when it comes to comic book movies. And you could watch Avengers Endgame like 5 times.
You had to watch it, there's just so much going on. So many action scenes and
they had the whole 10 years.
So beautiful.
See,
so beautiful. That really was a masterpiece.
MCU had 10 years of development. X-Men has been developing for longer.
Yeah.
Possibly, what is it, like 20 years now at this point?
Longer than that, because the original...
And they still can't get it right.
Of 20 years of X-Men movies, 12 movies.
20 years.
Yeah, the original X-Men came out in 2000?
Yeah,
I believe.
2000, so it's about 20 years.
Yeah.
And it escalated to... blip. to this. But on the plus side, Sophie Turner was one of the plus sides. Her acting capabilities as Jean Grey, her emotions, her losing her emotions, going with the whole rage and the Dark Phoenix side of things. I think Sophie Turner is one of the pluses. What's another one of the pluses?
The action scenes,
Action scenes were actually very good. Similar to like X2 with Nightcrawler.
Not just Nightcrawler, but all of them had a good action scene.
Yeah.
I always liked the interaction between Magneto and Professor Charles Xavier. And in this movie, that never disappoints, Like when they confront each other and they're great debates, how they go back and forth. That's one of my highlights of the whole series. They're interacting.
At the end of the day, they're still good friends.
Mm-hmm. The other part I liked, which I believe was really good, was Professor Xavier didn't die. He didn't get killed by Jean, but he was able to convince her, yo, I like that part where he's like, I made a mistake, I messed up. Because I hate to say it, but Patrick Stewart's Professor X didn't do that in X-Men 3, The Last Stand.
He didn't. That's true.
Maybe that's why he was able to change her.
It's a different timeline.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
We're on the 17th timeline with the X-Men at this point. So,
I'm just saying that.
Like you mentioned, I like that he didn't die. Because there was an actual point where I was like, this is like a repeat of exactly what happened. Like,
it was a really heart-wrenching scene because I was like, is she gonna kill him?
It was.
Is she gonna kill him? Is he gonna die? Oh, Professor Xavier, I'm sorry. You're my father figure. Like you're like my dad. And
that's another plus side. Is like you said, the Professor Xavier.
Yeah.
We were able to see a little bit of the wrongdoings of the Professor. Mm-hmm. In the comics, he's had his douche moments.
Well, here's the thing, like,
he's not a saint.
He's not a saint. Nobody's a saint. Everybody messes up, but
he's messed up big time. Okay,
everybody has, except Superman. Superman's the only person, But the only thing is like it's always that excuse, like for the greater good. I'm doing this even though it's wrong, but I'm doing this to save you pain, to save you from yourself, or I'm doing this because at the end it's gonna be better for you. He could have told her, yes, for your own good. He could have told the truth when she was at a right age, you know, and tell like, hey, this is what happened, explain to her. But no, he chose to ignore her. He tried to, you know, shield her from the truth, and it always blows up in his face, you know.
Literally, quite literally blew up in his face. But you will see a lot of, on the plus note, you see their powers. You get to see their powers. There's a really awesome scene with Magneto. Really awesome when he just like, you see the wrath and the power of him literally like just use his full power of magnetism. That I really liked.
Another part I like is the cooperations, like when they start working together. That was very X-Men feel.
That was an X-Men feel, like when they were all fighting.
Teamwork, you know.
The teamwork, the team aspect. The two leaders did take on their leader, you know, points. I don't think it was that drastic. But if you're if you're familiar with the comics, you know that the leaders of the entire X-Men group are Cyclops and Storm. Team A, Team B, like those are the two leaders of the X-Men. We saw them.
Well, he says it in the movie, like, I want you to come. Like Charles Xavier's like, you don't need to come, Storm, stay behind. But Cyclops like, no, I need you. I want you to come. I need you.
And Storm was like, I'm going.
Yeah.
Like those are the two leaders. Like they're standing up.
Yeah. Right hand person.
If you're an X-Men fan. Final recommendation, yes, you should watch it, because if you're an X-Men fan, you will appreciate certain scenes with certain characters and seeing them really unleash themselves. I would like to say. Almost like we did in Logan with Wolverine. We got to see Wolverine just unleash the Wolverine. I feel like they did that with the characters.
They did that also in X-Men 2, though. I love the mansion. He's like killing it.
But that was like a PG version of that.
But still, man, it was still hardcore.
It wasn't that berserker like it should have been. Like in Logan, they really, like literally the first 5 minutes of the movie, there was still berserker. He was slicing arms left and right. Yeah. That is Wolverine. Over here, since they were aliens, you get to see the X-Men like killing beings. They weren't humans, so they were like kind of like, okay, no gray area, just go for it. Nightcrawler, badass scene. Storm, got to see Storm in her full Omega, full version of Storm. Magneto, same. Mystique's character, I'm sorry, I cannot digest it. It's like they're forcing us to love her character, and it's not working. Again, we have references now in the cinematic superhero realm. They did it right with Black Widow and Hulk. There was a slight romance there. They're trying to like put that with Beast and what's her name again? Mystique. See, I'm trying to erase her name out of my head already. They're trying to build a romance there. She had a romance apparently with Professor Xavier, and she had a romance.
No, she didn't.
Yeah,
they were friends. They were like brother and sister.
No, they loved each other.
Like brother and sister.
Because
he said that in the very first.
Now he does, but he was like in love with her, like when he was getting hammered with Days of Future Past and stuff.
No, he wasn't getting.
Yes.
No, it was. You're thinking of.
And Magneto was also in love with her.
No, they had actually a thing. They referenced having a thing in the Days of Future Past. Hey. She asked him, and he's like, "I see you as a sister. I don't see you like that." They grew up together as brother and sister. He's always seen her as a sister.
Right.
But like it was attraction.
Still,
and then in First Class, she did sleep. Did she sleep with Magneto? Because she was
yes.
Okay, so there we go.
They made it a pretty good, good point. They made it a point that they were totally shagging. They were shagging. It's okay. She was like 17 and he was like 40, but it's okay. It's
like 18. She was like 18 because
oh great, you just made the cut. This lovey-dovey, honorable, caring character, which is completely not what it's supposed to be. Honestly, I really, out of the old X-Men movies, the original X-Men movies, the original trilogy, Rebecca Romijn Stamos, not saying a damn word, just being the villain herself, was actually a better Mystique than Jennifer Lawrence. And nothing against Jennifer Lawrence. She's an amazing actress. I love her as an actress, and she actually did a great job acting in this movie. just the direction of her character was doo-doo. That's my opinion. It's like a love-hate relationship. Mostly hate, but yeah, it's just total hate. But
that's another thing. That's another thing that was not good when they killed off her character just to have for Magneto to have a reason to jump in and try to kill.
That was the best moment.
Jean Grey. Oh my god! But like, yeah,
kill off that character.
Like the only reason, yeah, I feel like the only reason they cut her off was for that and for for them to understand that.
It's watchable. If you're not an X-Men fan and haven't seen the previous X-Men movies, you're fine skipping out on it. You're not missing much.
If you grew up watching the X-Men like from the 2000 up until now, it's a good send-off. Could have been a greater movie. Oh yeah, they could have done a lot of things.
Times better.
They could have gone a lot of different angles. Like I said, like with me with the Shi'ar Empire, and have Charles Xavier going away. But
you see the potential that this movie had, though.
Yeah, you do. But if you're an X-Men fan, if you know what you're talking about, if you know the source material, if you're not really a hardcore X-Men fan, if you started watching from X-Men First Class, it's still a good send-off, to watch this.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say go watch it more than once. I mean, if you really like it, go ahead, go do it. Don't let my opinion or his opinion discourage you.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't like the movie at all. Like if
angry fan.
If he had the DVD
that's
right now,
not completely true. That's not completely true. That's not completely true. I'm not totally hating this movie. I'm hating to the creative ability, the potential that is there and never fulfilled. That's my biggest peeve. Because they have literally, this is the best storyline in all of X-Men. Damn it! Like the whole
this one. Like I said, if you're a hardcore X-Men fan, you're gonna nitpick it like you did. I enjoyed it. It was good action. Story could have been stronger. Acting was pretty good. I didn't like the fact that they killed off Mystique.
Still went to Dark Phoenix because I'm an X-Men fan. I still support. It's more like you hope it's gonna be something great in there, and there are some good things to actually see. And then it's not fully there. It's just not fully there. It's empty. It's like you're trying to fill the glass.
There's a hole in the glass.
There's a hole in the glass. Anyways, final thoughts on Dark Phoenix. X-Men fan, go watch it. Non-X-Men fan, you're not missing anything. I'm not gonna go back and watch it. I'm just gonna wait for Kevin Feige to sprinkle his MCU magic, and we will hopefully see the X-Men we deserve. That's just what I think.
Hey superfans, unleash your inner superhero with these super compression shirts, tank tops, leggings, shorts, t-shirts, and even costumes. Link in the description below.
Subscribe, hit the notification button, and comment below. This is Fit Nerd, and
iRock809.
And we'll see you in the next. Over and out.
3, 2, 1, a
You're gonna be on the side, just like.
Yeah,
All right.
this is my good side.